What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rex Ruger, a.k.a. the King of Sleaze, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., a.k.a. the Son of Glam, the front man for the band. Got a million fans. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wop, boppa, boppa, wop, bam, bam, shazam, hot damn. Whoo, I'm feeling good. More importantly, as always, I'm looking good. So is my beautiful audience out there. As you know, you're looking at Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., and the hard science is ready to prove that very soon. As you can see, Pop's looking down on me with pride. A lot of great frontmen here. Pop's the offspring of a great frontman. The Freddie Mercury puppet. Teeth are out, as you can see, in full effect. I'd even consider my man Michael Myers here a frontman. He takes a backseat to nobody. Watching my back, the way that it should be. Glad to be back doing Pod Scum, man. Feels so good. I got a great guest today. We're going to get down to and chop it up with him, man. This one's going to be heavy. Let's get down to it. He's here now. Let's chop it up. We'll get him in here. We'll get him in here. And again, taking it worldwide, Mr. International. Call me Mr. International, Ralph. You know what I mean?
Hey, Mr. International.
I go worldwide, Ralph. I know I'm in upstate New York, and you are way the hell wherever the hell you are in the Netherlands, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, man.
The home of reckless abandon when it comes to marijuana.
Yeah.
And you guys always have been on the forefront of that, right? It's always been cool over there.
What do you mean? For the weather or?
Smoking weed.
Yeah, you like to smoke?
You know what? I did until I got pneumonia a couple months ago back in May. And then anytime I need a buzz, I'm strictly doing edibles now. It scared the hell out of me, man. It really did a number on my lungs.
Yeah. It's very heavy for your lungs. I quit it with that 14, 15 years ago or so.
Yeah. I
worked even in a coffee shop, and so that destroyed my lungs, and also messed up your head and everything.
Yeah.
So it's a lifestyle, you know. You better make music. It's better.
I don't want to say your name wrong. Is it RALPH de BOER?
De BOER.
De BOER. I knew there was going to be something that I wasn't going to put on it that I was going to screw up, you know? I mean, us Americans, man, we're not always great with the pronunciations.
No. I can imagine it. Dutch is a very difficult language for foreigners.
It is. So I got to ask you first, man. Of course, people know you from BODYFARM, which is predominantly where I know you from. Also, Deadhead, and you've had recent releases out with both of those bands. But if we can go back and chop it up like about your life, first and foremost, was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really got you, that really set the trajectory for you to get into music? What was that first kind of spark that got you into it?
The first spark that I thought this music I wanted to make, and I really want to make heavy music, was Sepultura Beneath the Remains. This is my first.
I got Max's shirt on today. Well, Soulfly, but
yeah, but I was really astonished. I was very young. I was 13 or 14 when I listened to that album, and it grabbed me directly when I hear the riffing and the type of songwriting, and it's still one of my favorite albums, top 10 albums. I can always listen to it, and it's always good, you know. It has a proper songwriting, and it gives this, you know, it's every riff is on. Yeah, fucking awesome.
So would you say that they were one of your earliest influences? Were there other influences as well?
Yeah, it started with my parents in their LP collection. They had the Beatles, rock and roll music from the Beatles, so the heavy songs from the Beatles. This was the first time I heard kind of heavy guitars, and this was then grabbing me. And then later they had an album where Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and MC5 were on, and this was a compilation album. And I was always going to the smoke on the water, and then my uncle learned how to play it, and that was the gateway to play guitar and dive further into rock. metal.
I read somewhere that is a lot of people's gateway, though. That particular riff, "Smoke on the Water," that seems to be one of the ones that people learn early on.
Yeah, it is. It's quite easy to play, and it is such a catchy thing. But it's so easy. It's just
Iconic though.
It's so simple, but hey, just come on it,
But sometimes it goes to show that the simplest things become the most memorable, though. You know what I mean? Those guys didn't overthink it, and yet here it is, 50 years later, and people still remember it.
Yeah. That's the secret of a good song or a good lick or
yeah.
Well,
it's funny. It's funny you bring up Max Cavalera because a lot of people might not know this man, and I love him too. I've been fortunate enough to meet him. He goes out on tour with the family. You know what I mean? Like now his sons are part of the act. You know what I mean? His wife is out on the road, doing the managerial stuff. So it's really like a family act. You know what I mean? Like the Cavalera family, of course, his brother, obviously. They're all involved in the music thing. But Max only plays the guitar with 4 strings.
Yeah, he did it also in the past. In the early days, not, but he just put away 2 strings because he didn't use the rest. So why not?
Yeah. That's
I also bought,
fuck it. What's too long?
This is what I need: power chords and 4 strings, so it's enough. Yeah.
Now, obviously, with you singing extreme music, extreme metal, there's a lot of guys that can just go right up there and they can just churn that stuff right out. Are you a guy that puts any care into your voice? Is there a warming up process? Are there special things that you do for your voice? Or are you just the kind of guy that can just go right out there and just do what you do?
Yeah, I need a little bit of warm up. Otherwise, you really destroy your voice. Even especially when you go on tour or play 4 or more days after each other, and then you need really to warm up. And I do a little warm up, but I also drink mint tea, warm mint tea, so your throat is healing during it singing. And I mix it up with honey, but I have mint tea and a cup of beer. So this combination is always good on stage for me.
That's the secret. You hear it out there, young singers? Mint tea and beer. There you go, right there. There's the recipe right there.
Mint tea with honey and beer.
Beer is it difficult singing extreme music? Obviously, there's other people that do it. Obviously, a guy like Glenn Benton from DSI comes to mind, singing and playing bass. Is it difficult? Is it difficult to juggle 2 duties in the band?
I used to play guitar and sing when I started with my first band. This is more difficult. In the bass, it's more, you have more the bass parts, and some parts are very low, so you can just hump on the simple notes and then make your vocals more complicated. And I'm more, I want my vocals come first and then my bass playing. But it has to go together, of course.
Right.
It's for I'm a vocalist with a bass guitar. The bass guitarist with the vocals.
If I were coming as an American and I were coming to over to Amsterdam, and I don't know what Amsterdam offers, obviously different countries offer different things in terms of cuisine, but if I were to come there, food wise, what's the calling card for Amsterdam? What do you got to come there and you have to try?
Yeah, go away from Amsterdam and jump into the smaller cities, because Amsterdam is, everybody knows Amsterdam, but that's also very touristic. And so go a little bit way out of that and go more to the countrysides and so there. But we have this fried, it's called kibbeling. It's fried sort of fish and chips. You know that? I guess.
Yep.
But you have then these are chunks of fried fish, and those are really, really good. And we have also the haring. This is a raw fish you eat in
sushi here.
Yeah, but I know sushi, but this is a salt raw fish, and it's salt because of it was it only be good. They hold it good in the salt so that it cannot. How do you say? Whatever. But you need the salt haring. It's a raw fish, and you need it in one slice in your mouth, and it's slippy, but it's It's very good. Yeah.
Okay. When you get together with the guys, I know primarily of you through BODYFARM, so I'll stick with that avenue. But either band, when you're getting together with the guys in BODYFARM, for instance, what's the creative process like collectively as a band? Do you guys all bring ideas in? Does somebody come in with the lion's share of the ideas? Is it kind of a collaborative process amongst everybody?
You mean when we write new songs?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, most of the times one of our guitarists has a framework with riffing, and then they bring it to the rehearsal room, and we listen before it via internet or whatever. They send it there, and then we have a framework, and we work together on this framework and fill it in and make it to a song of BODYFARM together. So it's really a group's process we do. But,
and what about you individually? Like when you're sitting down to write lyrics, or just you by yourself are going to create? Do you have a specific process that you like to do? Like, are you somebody that gets ideas throughout the course of the day? Or I hear a lot of guys come on there and they tell me that a lot of ideas come to them, in the car or when they're at their job or whatever. But there are people I know that go into a room and they isolate and they sit and they write. You know what I mean? Like for you individually, what's your creative process?
both things. When we have a complete framework and we play it in the rehearsal room, then are things coming up when we play these riffs, and then I sing this and we record it then, and then I listen back to it, and then I put lyrics on it. So it's and sometimes there's a framework ready without lyrics or without I need also sing lines, and you have sing lines and lyrics.
Right.
And sometimes I first make the singing lines and after that the lyrics. But sometimes I'm also ready with the lyrics, and then I have to put it in the framework. So
yeah, and when you guys go out on the road, and I imagine this probably gets difficult after you've been doing it for a long time or as you get older, because I know I'm 51 years old now, and at the end of a workday, I like to be home. I like to be comfortable. You start to miss things. When you go out on tour, do you like being out of the road? There are a lot of people who like being out there, that like a tour bus, that like being away from home. Or do you prefer like the creature comforts of home? Are you still somebody that, this far into your career still enjoys going out on the road?
Yeah, on the road is the best thing to do. That's what makes life worth, Being on the road is pretty cool, and have together this process in the bus and in the venues, and it's always a pity when the tour is done. When it's done, then you have to go home, and it's really a different world. It's really a different world.
There's an adjustment. There's an adjustment, I would imagine.
Yeah. You need to adjust for sure. Yeah. In both ways. First, you need to come into the tour, and then 2-3 days you are there, and then you go with the flow, and before you know it's over. Your 3 weeks is in up, then it's in snip.
It's become one of those things. Like the music business has changed so much that being out on the road is almost a vital part of being in a band nowadays, right? I mean, it really is important to get out on the road.
Yeah. People need to see you, and you need to sell your merch, and you need to have new souls who are listening to your music and see what you are capable of live.
Yeah,
I think you can make beautiful albums with good music, but you really need to prove yourself on stage. You have to mean, when you need to play your music also on stage as on the album, and it has to be same kind of impact, and. Yeah. For BODYFARM especially, we're really a live band also, and we like to play live, and that's also what you see on stage also. So it's a big plus.
And so when you guys do create and make new music, do you guys get together like in a room together, or are you guys kind of spread out?
No, we rehearsal every week, every Wednesday we rehearsal. And we're always together, and then rehearsing on the songs, on the frameworks, and all the things behind. Because a band is not only making music; you also need to manage all the things. You manage the packages, manage your merchandise and everything. And so you're a small company. We are also. So
well, because you do hear about a lot of musicians, obviously, that do a lot of things like remotely. You know, I mean, everybody's scattered about, and they're doing a lot of creating. You know, I mean, like via the computer or via sending files to each other. You know, I mean, it is nice to hear a band still getting together in the same room and making music.
Yeah, we are kind of old school in that way. Yeah, we make things. I create also sometimes riffs, or Bram or Alex are creating riffs, and they record it and they send it in the app. So then we have an idea what we are going to do that night, So this is a preparation. So this is, you don't have to listen from, what's coming now. What you can prepare yourself. Then everybody can prepare. So you can, time is very sensible for us, and everybody has a very busy life. So you need to use your time efficiently. So
well, I'm glad you're
at home, and then bring it together in the rehearsal room. And we like to do it the old school style.
I'm glad you're bringing up time, because obviously, you do BODYFARM, you do Deadhead. Do you find it difficult to juggle two bands, and do you consider one more priority than the other, or are they both equal projects to you?
Yeah, it's difficult, hard to say, and hard to make choices about that. But BODYFARM has more gigs, and there's more going on with BODYFARM than Deadhead at the moment. So the choice is simple. At the moment. So and sometimes it's difficult because you cannot do a gig for Deadhead when you have something planned with BODYFARM and show something cool. So, but I've made some arrangement with the bands, and they know how it is, and. It's sometimes it's hard. You could say that also to shift that, but most of the times it works out because shows, tours with BODYFARM are planned a long time before, so you have a good oversight from what's coming. So you need a tight schedule for that in your life.
Only so many hours in the day. I know. Believe me, I know. And excuse me for not knowing this. When I was putting my notes together to talk to you, has BODYFARM done any touring here in the States?
No. Touring. We played twice on the 70,000 Tons of Metal.
Okay.
Played 2 years ago. Played there, and in 2019, but this was with the former singer. BODYFARM had a former singer. He passed away. Right. This last, it's morbid, but it was his last gigs with BODYFARM were on the 70,000 Tons of Metal, and they sail from Miami. So we played on the international waters, but not in the States.
Okay, and you got a new EP out now, which is absolutely incredible. But when you guys put new music out, and I think when we were going through COVID, it changed. It seemed like it changed a lot the way artists were putting out music. I think a lot of them were, you saw a lot of singles, you saw a lot of EPs. You guys sit down as a band, BODYFARM, and do you think about what kind of a format you want to put music out in? And you guys still like putting out a fully realized album?
Yeah. We did the album before. I don't know if it's Abomination.
Ultimate Abomination. Yep, you put that out the year before.
Yeah. Okay, this was the complete album after COVID. And so, what is your question?
So you put out an EP in 2024. So what will be the format going forward? You guys like doing the full album, or you like doing the EP thing now?
Okay, clear. Actually, we are working always. We have always something new in the bag, but we are working now on new songs, and we think we are working on a complete album now again. Yeah. Just a full album. With 8 or 10 killer songs on it. We will see that, but we have to make a selection. But it's it was now this year that we released, and I think in 26 we will release a new album or so.
And do you guys think conscientiously? Do you guys think about like how often you guys want to put out new material? Because it seems like for a while there were artists that were and again, especially around COVID time, It seemed like artists were really trying to put out lots of singles, lots of EPs. It was almost like artists were like afraid they were going to be forgotten about if they didn't keep like material out there. And
Oh,
keep
you
it in
mean
the fans'
after
faces.
the COVID tsunami? You mean?
Fucked everything up. I know.
Yeah,
It really did.
nobody could release anything because there
I
were no
know.
tours. So you cannot promote your stuff then. Eh? It
Yeah.
makes no sense, and that's why this tsunami was. And yeah, for us was the COVID time was a time for reconsider, and we were just in the new lineup. So yeah, we had then the time to write songs and everything.
So did COVID fuck you guys up in terms of like your plans? Like what was going on? Like if you can harken back to like 2020 when all this bullshit went down, you know, did you have stuff planned and did a lot of stuff get derailed because of COVID?
A lot of cool festivals, a lot of cool gigs, which were postponed, and in the end canceled in the end for good. You know, so yeah, this really sucks, and all these restrictions. Yeah, but yeah, we're now here, and we did a lot of cool things in the last 2 years. We did 2 tours. We went to the 70,000 tons of metal again.
Yeah,
and we did. I think we did around 100 shows or so in total. So that's quite a lot for 2 years. So
I do talk to a lot of musicians on this show, and obviously it is very difficult, you know, to tour. There's a lot of expenses that go along with it. It's not the same music business that it was, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago when people would support a tour and your label would send you out, you know what I mean? And you know, it would be much an easier thing to do. A lot of bands have to like kind of support their own tour, or it's hard to get out on a tour. Would you guys eventually like to play the States?
yeah, of course, but when the conditions are good and everything is good arranged, then of course.
Yeah,
and I think the Dutch death metal is known in the States, and also I think there are also people who are ready for it. You know,
yeah,
like Asphyx and the Hail of Bullets at the time were very popular. You know,
yeah,
when they go
yeah.
that way. And they are big names. I don't want to measure myself into these names, but it's an example that people are waiting for Dutch death metal. So I think it's a good chance to have a short tour in the States and have a good time there.
Well, obviously the United States, you know, has its fair share of amazing death metal bands, man. But I do consider, you know, I think I think Europe has always been a hotbed for death metal, though. I mean, there's always been amazing bands. You know, I don't think it's any secret. You know, I mean, the great death metal exists over in Europe, and a lot of great festivals, you know, that we don't have here in the United States. You know, I mean, Europe has the market cornered on festivals a lot more than we do here.
Yeah, I guess that also. Yeah. I never been to a festival in the States.
No,
so I don't know really. But when you hear friends, for example, from Severed Torture, they were on the Maryland Dead Fest.
Yeah,
and then you see, and they had a short tour there with Bloodbath and with Primordial. And when you see the venues and the people they play, they're very enthusiastic about it. So it looks really cool. You know?
So as a fan of music, when you have time to listen to music, you know what I mean, not playing music, but when you sit back and you listen to music for your own personal enjoyment, who are some artists that you enjoy listening to? Obviously, you mentioned early Sepultura, but, you know, are there bands that are non-metal bands that you like to listen to?
Yeah, Orange Goblin is one of my, you can also call it metal, but this is also a band which gets me up really. But yeah, I think 95 of the music I listen the whole day music is metal.
Yeah.
And there will be and then more of the stoner rock, the stoner rock things is also
I like that too. I like that too. Yeah. It's kind of like that happy medium, like between like, you know, still being heavy, but, you know, not being too extreme, you know?
Yeah.
And so as far as like stuff that's non-music, you know what I mean? Like what other stuff do you enjoy? Do you have other hobbies and interests when you're not doing music?
Yeah, of course I have to work. I coach people with autism, so this is my my daily job. And
that's great. That's great.
Yeah. my own company in this. So there's also this is on one hand it's a lot of work, but on the other hand I'm also free to go on tour and rehearsal and make my own times, you know, my own schedule. So
I was going to ask you because that's a nice luxury to have, because you know, it is hard with a lot of jobs just to pull up stakes and say, you know, I'm going away for 2 months, you know.
Indeed, yeah, but my my clients needs a lot of base rest in their mind. So I really need to schedule it good, you know. So
so for all intents and purposes, you work in healthcare.
Yeah, mental health care. Yeah,
I do too. I'm a nurse by day. That's my job. So I mean, I work in healthcare too. So how did you end up in that particular field?
Yeah, school and during life, you begin to learn to yourself and what you can do best and how you, what's important for you to do and where you're good at. And autism, I really understand these guys. I like to dive in those minds and to see what's helping them, you know. So it's really a puzzle sometimes, and also very inspirational, you know.
Sure. Because
I work yourself also.
I worked in that field for a while before I started working at the nursing home, and working with autistic people is extremely fascinating. You know what I mean? Because it's fascinating and challenging at the same time.
Yeah, it is. It's a great job.
And so what have you found, you know, as far as working with the autistic people, you know, what's been the most like rewarding moment for you? Like, have you made some breakthroughs? Like, what have you found, you know, or been able to accomplish that you're particularly proud of?
In my work?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I make that every day. I make the things working for the people and make for everybody his own plan, you know. And this is every day different. So when it works, then it works, but it feels also good, you know.
And so so Deadhead, are there any updates? You know, I know you said BODYFARM is kind of taking a front seat right now. So where are you with Deadhead? Just came out with an EP themselves last year.
Yeah, Shadow Soul.
Yeah, so you guys do have new stuff out there, but obviously you kind of say that's taking a bit of a back seat to the BODYFARM stuff.
That is a total different band and total different souls and total different process also. Normally it takes 5 years that comes with a new album or so.
Yeah.
And now it was 2 years, and but it worked out good. And the guitarists are writing with the drummer new stuff, new material. So this is also always an ongoing process, and all since 1989, 98.
Yeah, they've been going a long time. Jesus, man, time really goes by. 1998.
Yeah.
Well, is 1998 when you joined the band? Because I feel like they were even around before that, weren't they?
Yeah, it's 35 years now. They are 10 or between 10 and 50 years older than that I am. So I was 9 when Deadhead was doing their first gigs and taking their first demo. I was 9 years older. So.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that'll make you feel old, huh?
Damn, yeah.
It doesn't take much these days to remind me that I'm getting old.
Our guitarist from BODYFARM is older than you, so that must be a little
older than me.
Yeah, it's older than you. We have with BODYFARM we have a sort of line in it from old,
older,
younger.
Well, hey, listen, Ralph. I really appreciate you making the time to do this, man. Please make sure to stay in touch, man. I'd love to do it again, man. When you guys got something cooking, you know what I mean? Anytime, man. It'd be great to get on here and chop it up with you again, man. Yeah, I really appreciate the time, man. And I'm glad we got a chance to, talk and actually make this happen, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna cut something out, or you're gonna do the raw things, or boom on the YouTube channel, or what?
I throw it all out there raw. I tell my audience all the time, and I've always told them this. You know, being 51 years old, I'm not the most technically savvy person when it comes to the computer. So what you see is what you get. I don't edit a thing, nothing.
That's why you like old school death metal. Also,
you get to see it. You get to see it. You get to see it, warts and all. Warts and all. That's how I say it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you know, I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and he had to go out of the room a lot like you did the other day when we were practicing it. He had to go out and come back in a couple times, but before we finally got the interview going, I left it all in there.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. I mean, why not? Because if people, you know, if people come on YouTube and they don't like that stuff, they'll just slide their cursor to where everything starts, you know?
It is, yeah.
Let them figure it out, you know?
Yeah. You see, nowadays we try to also to fish to some young souls, you know, and and so we are also on the TikTok platforms, but you see that the strength is just 20 seconds, and then your movie or whatever needs to be done.
Right.
No,
right.
It's really 20 seconds is a lot, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, it's like he came in the room and, you know, his audio was a little garbled and he wasn't coming in good. So he had to move around the house a little bit to try to find like the best Wi-Fi connection. So, you know, he wasn't getting it. So he's like, let me go out of the room and come back in again. And he did that once or twice. And he moved about the house a little bit. And he you know, he kind of finagled with the headset and this and that and the other thing. I left it all on. You know,
it's also rock and roll. You know,
it's rock and roll. Yeah, I mean, too much editing is. I mean, that's not punk rock. You know, I mean, you got to leave it all in there, man, and let the people say, "Hey, you know, here's how the whole system goes." When you're podcasting, there's no guarantees. You know, the Wi-Fi could be bad, the connection could be bad. I've talked to people overseas before. I've had death metal guys on from Sweden or from Australia. Okay. I mean, sometimes, you know, a lot of times you just get a bad connection. You can't control any of that up there, you know?
Yeah.
You get what you get and you just say, fuck it, this is what I got, you know?
Yeah. Where are you from, actually?
I'm in upstate, I'm in upstate New York.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in New York State, yeah. So, it's just starting to, we're just starting to get to the end of summer here. It's going to be nice in the 80s this week, but it will get brutal here pretty soon. I don't know how the weather is where you are, but we get pretty cold winters here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We just turned into autumn now, so everybody is.
Yeah. That's pretty much where we are right now too. It's starting to turn cold. It's nice during the day still, but the mornings and the nights are getting a little cold.
Yeah, okay.
But I like this time of year, though. I like fall. It is a nice time of year. If I could find a place where it was like 70, 75 degrees just all the time, that's perfect.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like those. There's a lot of inspiration coming down always in autumn, you know. A lot of colors, darkness turns in, so
Halloween
with lyrics and all that shit is also very good always.
It seems like a good season to create death metal, you know what I mean? Obviously you got the Halloween season, you got a lot of horror movies on, you got a lot of, you know, you got a lot of focus. You got a lot of focus on, like, you know, I mean, like a lot of death and gloom too.
Yeah, it is. And the work for me as mental health care is also getting more because there's less sunlight. So people are getting a little bit more depressed. Yeah. And, so there's more work now for me also. So
I see that a lot in my work. I see that a lot of that in my work. I work in a nursing home, and thankfully I work on the day shift because what happens with older people at night is they sundown. You know what I mean? So their behaviors get a little worse, like when it gets darker, especially with dementia. You know, it's like they start to get a little bit more out of sorts. You know, as the day goes on.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really fascinating to see because, like, they got the dementia and they've got the confusion and it's always there. But, like, when, like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon hits, like right now, it starts to get bad, you know?
Okay.
It's almost like the confusion. It's almost like the confusion and the frustration gets ramped up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, darkness sets in then, eh?
Yeah, it's depressing. But I did work in the brain. But I did work in mental health before, though, and like I know that working with autistic people was fascinating because they don't really like any kind of deviation in their routine. You know, they're very regimented. You know what I mean? Like if anything kind of gets out of sorts, you know what I mean? It really kind of throws them off their game.
Yeah. With autism for especially.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things. Like, do you see? Did you see in the world of autism, you know, do you see breakthroughs happening? I mean, do you see things, you know, that are making it easier for these folks?
I did. I work with people who can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Because I do this coaching, so you give them some grabs to grab on,
Right,
and then they are quite smart, so they can then do it by themselves. So these are the breakthrough is in themselves, but you need to tell them that in the right way and with thinking how their mind autistic thinks.
Right,
and you have to tell it, and then you can make breakthroughs. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting because I think people associate autism with, you know, incorrectly with not being smart. But I mean, I find them to be very intelligent. A lot of them, even supersede, you know, the normal minds, a normal mind's intelligence.
Yeah. It's nothing to do with EQ.
Right.
It has to do with the way of thinking and how things are going in the world and working for you in your mind.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating stuff. Now, does it inspire you at all artistically?
Yeah, in my lyrics, all my lyrics are based on psychological things.
I imagine.
On the darker side, and sometimes I compare it with war, with life is a battlefield. This is very cliche, but in this way, the mind also works. You know, your mind is also with a field with black holes, and you're stuck in the swamp, and it can go deep and fascinating in yourself, but also by others. So, and I get a lot of inspiration from that part. Yeah.
I also sit around and I think a lot about a band's name. And for some reason, man, you know, back when I was a teenager, you know, when me and my friends would listen to death metal and we'd be searching for the next heaviest band, getting more extreme, finding the next heaviest thing or whatever. I remember there wasn't as much information out there. Like you couldn't just go on the internet and find out about your favorite death metal band. So there was like a mystique to them. There was almost like a fear of them. You know what I mean? Like, wow, this is some scary shit. And we don't know a lot about these guys that are playing this music. Now you can obviously find out about everybody or whatever. Yeah. But, you know, a good band name is incredible to come by, and for some reason I find the name BODYFARM extremely disturbing and scary, but in a good way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's very
I don't know what the fuck a BODYFARM is, but I don't want to be anywhere near one.
Really? You only have them in America, so body farms. It's a body farms. You get they do investigation on corpses, and they bury corpses in farms.
Okay.
They do an investigation for the decomposing, and they will use it then for homicides, but also for all these kind of things. Yeah.
I'm just looking at that BODYFARM.
I didn't make it up, or the former singer who passed away, he brought it up, but yeah, I think it's a very cool name also. So.
I mean, some names just scream death metal. You know what I mean? Like when you hear a name like Cannibal Corpse, or when you hear a name like Obituary, which is one of my favorites, when you hear certain names, like you say, okay, man, that's a death metal band name. You know what I mean? And BODYFARM certainly fits that. You know, certainly fits that description. And when I'm looking at that BODYFARM shirt, I'm realizing I need some BODYFARM merchandise in my life. I do.
Yeah. Okay. yeah.
I'm looking at you wearing the shirt, and I'm thinking I got to get on board here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sometimes we ship some things to the States. So
yeah, I got to get on there. Where's the best place to go get the merch from? You guys got like a website that you work?
Yeah. We have a Bandcamp page.
Okay.
So you can find it via Facebook or via Instagram. You can find it.
Okay.
And we will add some nice things when I know it's you. Then we will add some nice things to it when you order something.
Yeah. I'll definitely be ordering, man. And you know, like I said, Ralph, you know, I know we got a 6-hour time difference, so I know it's a little later there for you, man. But I appreciate you being so accommodating, man, and being able to make this happen, man.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but it's a very cool conversation, and
I try to have fun.
You're very minded to it, you know. You're a fan of death metal and old school music, so it's very.
I try to have fun with the conversations too. I actually on my YouTube channel, I've got 2 different podcasts on there. I started doing this music one, and I did about 175 episodes of it. And then I kind of switched gears, and me and my son were co-hosting one, and we did another 160 episodes, and it was all about boxing, which is a sport that we both really love.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
And then he's got 4 kids. So after 160 episodes, it started to be difficult for him to get on the computer and keep co-hosting with me because he's got a lot of family duties. You know what I mean? So
okay,
so now I'm kind of back to doing this one. So but I enjoy this one though because even though I love boxing and I love talking to fighters, it is a little bit more interesting talking to people that make art because the conversations can go a lot of different places and they're very interesting.
Yeah, cool. Sports is also very, very important for me. It is also. We're running and keeping good conditions. Otherwise, you cannot go to your gigs. You cannot give it 100%. So
I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people don't realize the endurance that it takes to go up there and do what you do. And I think a lot of times, extreme music especially, I don't think it gets its just due sometimes. You know what I mean? Like where people really recognize, how difficult, how difficult you guys play, how hard and how fast and how much of a strain it is on your voice. I think a lot of times death metal, even though it's been around for a long time, or hardcore, extreme music, whatever you want to call it, man, it just doesn't seem to get its accolades as much as other genres of music do.
Yeah. But it's not only playing, especially with the music we make, we also need to perform. So
it's punishing. It's punishing on the body.
Bring it to the people. Bam, in your face. That gives you a lot of energy, but the energy you give, you need to be in a little bit in a good condition.
Yeah, I had the pleasure a couple years ago of going to see Cannibal Corpse, and I saw Corpse Grinder, and I was like, wow, that neck of his really gets a workout.
He really trained. He's really training all the time.
He's got some hell of a neck. It was like looking at my upper leg. I mean, the neck was just huge because he does that windmill headbanging thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's impressive. He's even got shirts out that say "Respect the neck."
Yeah.
He does respect it.
He does. Yeah, you cannot miss it.
Well, listen, Ralph, man, I really appreciate this. As I said, stay in touch, man. We'll definitely do this again, man. I had a good time. Yeah.
It's cool.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
See you later, man.
Good talking to you, Ralph. Yep. Best of luck going forward, man. We'll talk soon, man.
We do.
All right. Yes, later, my friend.
Ciao.
There he goes, Swolf. I'm going to say his name probably wrong again. I'm not going to say it certainly as nice as he did. RALPH de BOER. I think that was pretty good. I got in at the beginning and called him RALPH de BOER. That sounded very Americanized. The guy is in Amsterdam. RALPH de BOER. I hope when he watches this back that he'll give me the okay, the thumbs up, whatever, man. He is the vocalist and the bassist of BODYFARM, an equally disturbing but amazing death metal band name. Do go check out their last full length was in 2023 entitled Ultimate Abomination. They also just put out an EP here at the beginning of 2024 called Malicious Ecstasy, and which is absolutely amazing. There's some live tracks on there as well. Fucking just, if you like your death metal, brutal and fucking crushing, these guys will give it to you. He's also in the band Deadhead. They also put out an EP in 2024 called Shadow Soul. Heavy music and punishing, as I said, crushing, pummeling, all those fucking things we want in our death metal, man. Certainly BODYFARM and Deadhead, but as he said, primarily BODYFARM seems to be getting more gigs, seems to be working at a more progressive pace. It seems to be more of the primary focus. Not to say that he said that Deadhead was not a priority, but obviously BODYFARM, he alluded to the fact that, more offers, more gigs, a little more prolific at this stage of their career, man. But do go check out BODYFARM, man. From one death metal fan to my audience out there, again, another band that you will come back and say, good looking out, Rexx. Glad you hipped me to these guys, man. So that was a great conversation, man. Really appreciate Ralph. He is over in the Netherlands, so there is that time difference. At the time right now of this recording, it's a little after 4 o'clock. So for him, it's after 10 o'clock p.m. So we've been talking for a couple of weeks, making this, setting this up. So I appreciate him being so accommodating, making the time, staying up, and dealing with the time difference, and just overall a pleasure to work with, man. Glad we got a chance to do this, and hope you guys enjoyed that talk with RALPH de BOER from BODYFARM. And again, as I said, go check out 2023's Ultimate Abomination. It will fucking absolutely pulverize you, as will their 2024 EP, Malicious Ecstasy. And you can go back and check out the whole discography. Obviously, I would encourage you to do that wherever you stream or get your music, man. The boys are available everywhere where you can find fucking music. I'm not going to fucking find it for you. Whatever the fuck you do. The Freddie Mercury puppet and his teeth also approve. Again, like and follow us on Facebook. If there's shit that you like on there, if there's shit that you don't like, if you want me to talk more or talk fucking less, if there's guests that you want to see or that you fucking want me to try to get, I'll run them down for you if I can, man. Not just in the metal world, any genre, man. I like to keep the fans happy, man. It's all about keeping the fans happy, man, and the ladies. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on this page to stay tapped in. These are the best conversations anywhere on the planet, man. This is where we get people to come and chop it up like no place else and get down to the brass tacks of what the fuck is really going on. So with that being said, you know how I always close these things out, folks. Remember, stay tapped in, keep watching Pod Scum, and remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.